interior defensive line out of it because Jalen Carter's that good.
I feel like you could pick like 6 or 7 guys on
you
Georgia and make a good argument for them. So I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to pick someone out of TCU. How about a guy that doesn't get a lot of national attention?
Okay.
Travius Hodges Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Cornerback for TCU.
Yeah.
LaDainian's nephew.
That's right.
Right.
He's a baller.
Yes,
He's not
he
the
is.
biggest corner in the country. He's 5'9", 180, but his coverage skills are elite.
Yeah.
They're not good. They are elite.
Yeah.
Quick twitch, ball skills. He competes. He likes to tackle. He plays with great effort. Quarterbacks are only completing 25% of their throws when they target number 1 on TCU. That's the lowest in the country. Michigan went 0 for 6. So when you see number 1 for TCU lined up on A.D. Mitchell, big number 5 for Georgia, just keep your eye over there because I think that's a matchup I think TCU likes.
It's one thing, to Dez's point, to say that you're the best player on the field. That doesn't mean you're going to have the best game or have the biggest game at the end of the night. Brock Bowers barely said his name for 3/4 of that game last week. So, rapid fire, who will have the biggest game? The one individual player that has the biggest game is?
Jamon Dumas-Johnson, linebacker for Georgia. I think he's going to be asked to do a lot against the run game, tracking down Max Duggan outside the pocket as well. I think he's going to have a bunch of tackles, couple TFLs. He's going to be a big part of it for Georgia.
Darius Davis, he's a receiver for TCU. All the attention's going to be at Quentin Johnston, but he's faster than fast, and he's a return guy too. Special teams may play a key part in this matchup.
Of course he would say the return guy.
Absolutely, baby.
Come on now. Come on. There we go.
He's on brand. He's on brand. Baby. I'm going to go with Dez's guy, Brock Bowers, specifically because of who they're playing against in that 3-3-5 scheme from TCU.
Yeah.
Teams attack the safeties in the passing game, and you mentioned they didn't really get big number 19 going against Ohio State. No Darnell Washington maybe in this game. So I expect him to have a bigger output and be very, very productive in a lot of different ways against the
And much like Stetson Bennett, when they needed it, Bowers was
Watching
there.
Ohio State and Georgia, when you mentioned that
against Ohio State, the 4th down where it was so close,
Started
absolutely
big.
critical.
Started the game
Teams
when he dropped
attack
it as
the
well with a big
safeties
chunk play.
and the
We'll see if he delivers come Monday night, the College Football Playoff National Championship.
Gentlemen, thank you. You talk about talent. You know there's going to be a bevy of it when you're playing the national championship game. Although, interesting to point out, TCU did not have 1 player drafted last year. That's certainly going to be a different case this year. As Todd McShay, you work on the NFL draft, one of our draft analysts. Walk me through the 3 biggest draft prospects tomorrow night.
Yeah, I would say that Georgia has 4 of the top 5 prospects in terms of where they're going to get drafted next year. But at number 3, I'm going to go with Keely Ringo, the cornerback, who, listen, he's been inconsistent. He really has, especially down the stretch, struggling. But when you're 6'2", and you've got that length, and you're going to run in the 4.2s probably at the combine, he's going to be a top 20 overall pick. So, listen, huge return for a touchdown last year in the national championship. Can't wait to see what he does in this game. But I don't think that TCU is going to shy away from throwing his way. It's going to be really interesting to see. Quentin Johnston, this guy is a pterodactyl. I mean, you're not built like this. 6'4", 200 plus. And the difference, I mean, there's a bunch of guys with that size, but the twitch that he has after the catch is really unique to me. You don't see him, usually they're kind of long striders, go get late separation. Not with him. He can actually create right after the catch. And then finally, the best player in this game, and maybe the best player in all of college football, Jalen Carter. And listen, the Chicago Bears just locked in that number 1 overall pick. If they can't trade out of that spot, Jalen Carter could be the pick. Either he or Will Anderson, the defensive end from Alabama. He is so disruptive, so explosive, and when he got healthy late in the season, it changed the whole complexion of this defense.
And then you look at some of the other top 100 prospects in this game. I mean, there's NFL talent all over this field.
All over the field, yeah. And Hodges Tomlinson, I agree with what we just saw. Like, he is so underrated, and I've got him at 98 overall. He might go a little bit higher, doesn't have the great size and all that, but he can match up with any Georgia wide receiver.
I'm interested. You said something interesting, too, about Stetson Bennett and his pick up for a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Day 3 pick.
Stetson has heard that before. Let's just throw it out there. He's heard the serviceable backup. You know, he's heard that line before, and he continues to prove people wrong. So
I hear you.
My favorite thing about